I get a lot of questions from people asking exactly how it is I came to be an atheist. People wanting to know my story. So I thought I'd do everyone the service making this video so I wouldn't have to reply to everyone individually all the time. I don't know why some people might find this story interesting. I guess I'll just start from the beginning. I come from a Christian family. Not entirely stereotypical. Most of my family is actually Democrat, but they, at the same time, are very religious, very Christian. I grew up believing in the Christian God when I was little. I don't know exactly when I started actually questioning it. It didn't become like a big deal for me to think about it until I was a teenager. But I guess I really started questioning my belief in God after I stopped believing in Santa Claus. So yeah, when I dropped that belief in Santa, I must have been really young. That's probably not long after that I started thinking about the whole God thing. I know it wasn't right after, because I still do remember believing in God for a while after I knew that Santa wasn't real. So anyway, when I was 14 or so, that's when it started becoming like a really big deal. These missionaries came to my house, Baptist, and somehow my brother and I started going to this Baptist church. And we'd go every Sunday because we really didn't like being in the house. We would look for any excuse to get away, and I won't get into why. But, so even though I hated this, and yeah, I did kind of end up hating this Baptist church. It was the First Baptist church, and they were very strict. But I would still go, and it really got me to thinking about the whole God question. I hadn't actually made a decision yet, but I couldn't believe that there would be a God that, and I realized this is just an emotional appeal. But you gotta remember, I was like 14. I couldn't believe that there'd be a God that would be so anti-fun. I don't know, I didn't drop the whole God thing though, even after I stopped going to that church. And I was even baptized. But it just became kind of a question for me. I guess you could say that technically I was an atheist even then because I didn't actually believe in God. But I didn't identify as an atheist. And I was very much in a questioning mode. And then, when I was 15, I had lived somewhere else. This was in Liberty, Missouri, where there's a strong Mormon presence. These Mormon missionaries started talking to me. These 3 very cute girls. And they were very nice. And we had a few talks. And I ended up still having problems with going with the faith in Christianity route. But at the same time, I didn't totally drop the possibility of God existing. So I started thinking about it a lot more, and I had some talks with some friends about spirituality and that kind of thing. And I got into this whole vague, pantheistic, transcendentalist theology that I'd kind of made up, like the universe was God to me. And I thought at one point that God had actually kind of spoken to me. And I wasn't on drugs or anything. But it was actually this incredible feeling I had, which I now attribute to a more naturalistic explanation of, mind trying to almost force me to feel this kind of thing because I wanted it so much. And over the next, 6 years, I started developing this belief more and more through talks with more people and everything, and it almost became kind of nonsensical, but to me it made sense. My idea was that the universe was God, that people had souls. I decided to check out myspace.com because a friend of mine before this kept emailing me saying, join this site, it's cool, it's a good way to communicate and keep in touch. I'm like, no, I'm just going to stick to email, and I'm going to go to these message boards and do the thing I normally do. I don't know what this MySpace thing is. I've never heard of it before. And I found out that one of my brothers was on it too. And I don't know, out of boredom, I guess, I just signed up. But I just kind of sat on the account for a while, not really doing anything with it. And then one day, I guess, I got really bored, and I actually went back and looked at my account. I was like, I'll play around with this site. I'll see what kind of features it has. One of the things I did, this was late April 2005, I clicked on the little forums button up at the top there, and I scrolled through the forums and I saw religion and philosophy, and I'm thinking, well, I want to check out this philosophy forum. At the time, I wasn't really interested in talking about religion. It was just philosophy I wanted to talk about. So I go to the philosophy forum. After I'm there for a couple of days, I see this debate going on, and I'm not even participating in this debate, but it's between these two guys who are religious and they believe in God and souls, arguing against this guy named Chris and then this other atheist who are arguing against them. And I just watched through this debate, and I had believed in souls at the time, but I was thinking, like, this guy Chris is like kicking my ass, and I'm not even in this debate, and I'm just looking at it. I'm just watching through it, and it was like, whoa. I'd never fucking thought about things this way before. Because they were talking about, like, what is the purpose of a soul, even if it does exist? What does it do other than just sit there? And I just realized that I had no reason to believe the crap that I was believing. It was like a eureka moment for me. It wasn't like I immediately jumped over. It was almost immediate. It was like I let this sink in a little bit before I jumped ship. But more or less, it was basically like a eureka moment. Like I just, bam, like I saw this and I was like, bam. I don't know, it was very late April, and then on May 1st, 2005, is when I officially made the statement saying, I am an atheist. What happened was, I was in the car with my ex, and I was actually kind of trying to piss her off, because back when we were together, she was always saying this thing like, everyone should believe something, it doesn't have to be Christianity, and she's not a Christian, she's atheist, it's not important. It doesn't matter what you believe, as long as you believe something, very kind of anti-atheist, but pro whatever the fuck you want to believe. So I was just kind of like, hey, guess what, I'm an atheist. And I didn't even say it meaning to mean it. Like, I knew it was something that I was considering, but I didn't really realize until up to that point, like, how serious I was about it. Once that was out of my mouth, once I had actually said the words, I was like, whoa, I really am. It just kind of jumped out of me. I'm like, I'm an atheist, and it's like, and then from that point forward, I've been an atheist ever since. I really was before May 1st. I just used that as the day because that's the day I officially said it. I really think I was an atheist that very night when I witnessed that debate. It's just that it hadn't sunk in yet. That's the story. It's been almost 2 years. Since then, I've rethought a lot of my positions in politics. I've spoken with a lot of free thinkers. I've totally turned around on a lot of my ideas on philosophy and just everything. I mean, it's one of the most life-changing events I've ever been through. It really has. Probably one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. Honestly. But yeah, that's the story.